kid in the 80s.
Welcome back, allies. It's Jim, it's Larry, we're here, and some news has come out. We have seen now the trailer has been released for the second part of Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Is that what that was?
That was. Have you watched it yet?
No, I thought it was a news broadcast. I thought Eternia was going to split open and finally this world was going to be interesting.
Ooh, okay. Well, it's going to be interesting, all right.
Just me?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything about it. I'll tell you what. Let's take a look here, shall we? We can.
Now you get to watch us watch a preview.
That's right.
We want to believe in an ordered universe. Some grand architecture holding it all together. But alas, after all these years, I finally know the real secret of Grayskull. There is only power. And now, I have the power.
This is a new era. As the new sorceress, the bumbling idiocies of the past will no longer be tolerated.
The only way we can stop this sorceress is with another sorceress.
If we want to live, we're going to have to fight.
If I can tap into the power, I can stop her.
Soon, all of Eternia will remember this historic moment when Skeletor finally kills He-Man. What are we laughing at?
See, the sword is just the conduit. But the spark, that was always me.
No.
By the power of Grayskull!
You haven't seen this yet?
Why did it answer his call?
Alright, that was a weird groan. I'm guessing you have.
We're in dire need of your help.
There is nothing to live for. Many chaos. And to chaos. Will we all return?
Thank you for being my daughter. Now you need to be something greater.
Yeah.
Look at the sky. All hope is gone. Everything will end.
Find safe positions.
There are no safe positions.
Oh, there's one. Behind me.
Grandman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are in trouble now.
Well,
Alright, we've done a couple of things and we've eliminated most of the haters' responses. As in, guess who's coming back?
you know, this is the thing I love most about this, is that, you know, when we sat here and we did the review of the first half, we did so after everyone was, well, not everyone, but there was a percentage of the fan community that was sort of crapping all over the thing.
Well, yeah, they wanted hits on YouTube. Much
Yeah.
like we do. Like, share, and subscribe.
But we didn't do that. We didn't crap all over it. In fact, we were saying, hey, hold on just a second here. And a lot of the things that we were talking about, we can see are now absolutely coming to fruition.
Yes.
Tila becoming the sorceress. It's obviously the direction they're going. The thing I did not see coming was Evelyn in place of the sorceress at this early stage with Skeletor taking over. That part I did not predict.
But
I didn't see that coming. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
I just didn't expect to see that. So that's kind of cool. Was that I couldn't figure. Was that a bat she was wearing?
Oh,
on her
she
head?
was wearing a bat. It was a bat costume. At least it looked like a bat costume to me. What it does answer is there's going to be other questions. It's like, how did we get there, and how do we move on from there? Because they're closing this thing out.
Yeah, it looks that way.
They've got 6 episodes to close this out. At least I think that's what the run was for the last one, or was it 5?
I'm not clear on that. I don't know exactly what the number is, but what I will say is that you're right. This is my understanding is this is just a a condensed story and it's completely self-contained. I would imagine that they're not going to kill Skeletor off, or if they do, it's going to be in a way that he can come back. Yeah. The other thought is, though, with the allusion to the bat, are we going to see Hordak?
That was one of the questions that I did have, because you saw no reference to the Horde whatsoever.
No.
And a big part of how Skeletor became Skeletor was Hordak.
Yeah, and the fact that there was a bat incorporated into her headdress, I'm not sure if that just happens to be, well, it's just accidental, but I have a hard time believing that that's accidental. So I'm wondering if we're not going to see a little bit of that perhaps come in, especially towards the end or whatever.
Well, there's other secrets that haven't been explored yet, like She-Ra.
Yeah,
being He-Man's sister.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that, you know, when you have in the toy line you had Screech,
right?
So you had the evil version of Zor. We're finally getting an answer as to who Screech is. Well, it's obviously Evelyn. Mm-hmm. You would assume that's her bird form or whatever, as the guardian of Grayskull, so to speak. So
it's very, very interesting on how they go about this. It's something that you and I saw from a mile away, because if you did watch the Filmation 1980s version, this was all explored, albeit like, you know, a 20-minute episode that they're picking and choosing from.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, that's just it. And that was why I couldn't figure out when people were saying things like, "Oh, where they're going to make He-Man a girl and it's going to be Teela." And I'm thinking to myself, well, no, that was never the story. It was always her becoming the sorceress,
right? Which
was hinted at in the original source material way back in the day. I don't remember the name of the exact episode. I'm sure somebody does, and I'll mention it down in the comment section. But there is an episode that explores that she is the heir apparent, or has been named the heir apparent. She just doesn't know it at the time.
Well, the Easter egg would have been easily explored if you're into Mega Constructs and you get Castle Grayskull. One of the packing characters is the Empress.
The goddess.
Or the goddess.
Yeah.
Correct me. The goddess, which was Teela.
Yeah.
Who's green.
Yeah.
I don't understand why somebody would hold it in their hand and go, yeah, that's not Teela.
Well, and it makes even more sense because the goddess presents the armor to the like the wild He-Man that you see, and you know that's also part of the lore as well. So that could explain how he ends up back as He-Man and everything else. And I think the whole thing is really interesting. I'm excited to see the second half. I think that,
as am I. It's going to be exciting.
I'm curious to see if after the second half comes out, there's anybody that decides to say, "Oh well, you know what? I probably should have waited before I..."
No, they're not, because we know that's not how it works.
Oh.
You know it, that people aren't going to backtrack anything. They're going to say, well, I knew it all along.
And okay.
They're going to glaze you over with some brouhaha.
Right. I was hoping that somebody would at least have the sense to say, you know what, maybe I prejudged and I shouldn't have.
No, not on the internet. They're they knew it all along, or they're gonna blow it off and pretend it never happened.
I suppose.
And that's how those things go. That's just it.
I suppose you're right. Well, it looks great. It's coming soon, and I know that I can't wait to see it, and I know you're the same way. So.
Oh, it's going to be very, very exciting. I hope it answers a bunch of questions that I've had, and I also hope it doesn't, because something like this, I want it to leave me wanting more. Mm-hmm. That way I'm fulfilled, but I'm not at the same time, which also leaves a gateway in case they want to do another one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to you, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're talking to you.
Yeah. Horde, She-Ra.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's something about that on how He-Man's sister is She-Ra. And he works with Teela. Mm-hmm. And you've got all these other female characters. Why it all comes back to the whole, equality thing. It's like the show was equal from the
very start.
From the very start.
Yeah.
Why
did people take issue with it?
Yeah. Was I the only one who was paying attention to go, oh, there's something here for everybody?
Truthfully, I think people were hyper aware of the move to give women stronger roles and so forth that you hear about today. And so I think that there's a small group of people that are obviously very verbal who, when that happens and it's doing so in a way that they feel is counterproductive to what they remember through nostalgia, they get ugly about it. The problem is they were probably too young at the time to realize that it was being done back then and was part of the original show. Because certainly you didn't think of that back then. I didn't think of that when I was watching She-Ra back in the day, that I was watching, a strong female character. We don't, you're a kid. You're not thinking that. So I think it's just that they didn't realize that what they were coming out against is the way it always was.
Yeah. Those are also the same people who never watched the Alien franchise. Because if they did, they knew that strong females existed way before they did.
Well, in sci-fi and fandom, in all of that, you see strong female characters long before I think you do anywhere else, because it was always predicting the future.
Yeah.
Where there was going to be more equality and so forth. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can question Princess Leia as a strong character throughout the original Star Wars movies.
Well, that's why I'm referencing Alien. I mean, Ripley is probably one of the strongest female characters to come out of the 80s.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Sarah Connor being another one.
Sarah Connor being another one. Go figure.
And the interesting thing about Sarah Connor is the evolution of the character.
Yes.
From the first to the second one, which I'm sure we're going to explore somewhere down the line.
We will
explore
that down the line somewhere.
But in any event, guys, I think this is going to be a great second half of this program. I know I can't wait to see it. I know Larry can't wait to see it. And once it comes out, you can bet we'll be back with a review. So for Larry, this is Jim. We'll see you real soon, allies.
With the power of Grayskull. Word.
In the